If you personally have a 401k, 403b, or an IRA, then pay attention because you, my friend, are under attack. Let me set the stage for you. The Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017 included a number of tax reforms for nearly every American, and those are set to sunset or revert back to prior law at the end of next year, which means regardless of how this election falls, we know major tax reform will be debated next year. And it is becoming increasingly evident that tax advantages to saving in a 401k or an IRA are absolutely in the crosshairs. 401k plans and similar retirement plans have been called a fraud that mainly benefits the rich, and they have failed for 90% of American workers. Oh, come on. Lawmakers aren't going to take away the tax incentives for saving for retirement, will they? You sure about that? It happened in 1986 when the contribution limit was slashed from $30,000 to $7,000. More than 80 million working Americans saved in an employer's retirement plan. I have personally met with thousands of successful 401k savers from the boardroom to the manufacturing floor. At its peak, only 40% of workers had access to a pension. Today, our 401k and 403b plans are accessible by more than 66% of workers. Over time, defined contribution plans have helped Americans accumulate $25 trillion in retirement savings. Through behavioral finance, we continue to drive up participation and savings rates. With fee transparency regulation, we have consistently lowered the cost of the programs, and our funds companies have innovated new products that efficiently create custom and appropriate investment models, considering not one, not two, but sometimes several participant-specific data points to automatically invest you in a suitable strategy. During the COVID pandemic and record inflation, we took a step back and asked the question, how can our existing successful infrastructure better support the financial challenges American workers face today? Through our legislature and Secure 2.0, we increased flexibility, reduced penalties, and removed the barriers that prevented American workers from accessing their retirement accounts when emergency strikes and they truly need it. By expanding our savers credit, we've increased the tax incentives for our lowest income workers, providing a non-refundable tax credit up to 50% of their deferral. Pundits like to hammer on the median 401k balance sitting only at $30,000. The statistic itself is misleading because it doesn't take into consideration job turnover and that many workers have multiple accounts. But okay, yeah, we agree. We have a long way to go to grow those balances, but that $30,000 looks pretty damn good when we know most of America can't cover a $1,000 emergency expense. Yes, we need more for retirement, but retirement savings accounts offered by a private employer are the #1 place for Americans to save. And those balances definitely come in handy when a participant needs a loan or a hardship distribution. But alas, policymakers are licking their chops as they eye the estimated $300 billion that could be added to the federal budget annually if retirement savings tax incentives are stripped. Ironically, they can't decide if they want to use the funds to shore up their existing failed program, Social Security, or start a whole new program managed, ran, and matched by you, the taxpayer. Oh no, you've heard that right. A federally managed and funded 401k. Let's talk about the flagship federally ran retirement savings program, Social Security. As a 37-year-old, my employers and I have paid almost $140,000 into the program. $140,000 has been paid into a retirement program for my retirement benefit that is expected to be insolvent before I turn 50 years old, that is facing imminent benefit cuts in 10 years. As a self-employed individual, I get the unique liberty of paying both the employee and the employer side of Social Security. If limits were to stay status quo, I alone would pay an additional $650,000 into Social Security before I'm even eligible for a full distribution at the age of 67. And if that isn't enough to make you sick, consider this. The vast majority of financial planners, myself included, do not even build Social Security into a financial plan as a retirement income for younger generations. Why? Aside from the fact we're not confident the program will be solvent, we do know already that our Social Security income will be taxed in retirement. Again, the net income Social Security provides is not enough to replace the income we have before retirement. The middle class needs and deserves a thriving, competitive retirement savings system. I am not rich. I am not poor. I am not old. I am not young. I am a middle-class, hardworking American that has chosen to take responsibility for my family's financial stability by saving in the nation's oldest and most successful retirement savings program. And you want to take what little tax incentive I get for doing that and shore up a federal program that I already contribute tens of thousands of dollars a year to, knowing there is a strong probability I will never get that money back. Middle-class Americans, it's time to get loud. If you are a retirement saver in a 401k, a 403b, or an IRA, your congressmen need to know we rely on these retirement savings to fund our retirement. As Brian Graff so eloquently puts it, Social Security does a pretty good job of providing retirement income for our lower income households. And the wealthy, well, they'll figure it out. The 401k plan is for the middle class. That's it for this week. This is Jeannie, the 401k lady.